turn the music off, Steve.
Hanalei, Kauai, landing spot for mental clearinghouse. Where you go when you need access to the end of civilization. Bubba's Burgers, the Tahiti Nui, shaved ice, $13 burritos that should only cost $5. It all blends beautifully together in Hanalei Town. Who's got a browser on? There it is. No, okay. Hey, everybody. We heard a little echo there, and I'm not sure where that was coming from. Welcome to episode 17, live-ish from SpragueLand. The Tribute Rebels take on Hawaii. The history of the Tribute Rebels, that's the name of our band. It's sort of a makeshift thing. But down through history, and we're certainly part of it, we do concerts that are themed-based of some major artists, like we've done Stevie Wonder. We just did Pat Metheny about a couple weeks ago. Yes, I'm hearing stuff in here. Sorry about that. And our idea was that we would do concerts. I'm sorry, 1 second. Something's moving. Hey.
It was the computer up here.
Really?
Yeah, coming through the speakers. I just turned it down.
Thanks. Okay. That's what it was. No, Mac just said it was the computer up there. Okay. What it turns out to be, folks, is there's so many computers on, and if anyone is on, then we hear the sound coming through somewhere else. So hopefully that worked out. Back to the Tribute Rebels. So then we decided we are all composers, so why don't we do a night of our own music? And we wrote specifically music with Hawaii kind of a theme in mind. So that piece that you just heard was a piece of mine, brand new. That was the first time we rehearsed it, but we haven't played it. It's called Hanalei Town, and it's written for a beautiful town in the island of Kauai. We are here at SpragueLand in my studio in Encinitas, and where are you from? If you have access to the chat, write where you're from, and we will get you into our little social network. We're in a studio where we're all social distanced. We have Mac, who's right above us. Duncan is out in the drum room, which is a shed about 50 feet that away. Tripper is over in the big room over there. Danny's in a piano room. And then I'm in the control room. Let me tell you who's in the band. We have Duncan. He's playing the drums and playing beautifully. And Duncan, tell me, you did go to Hawaii once, I remember. I think that was one of the prerequisites of the band doing this gig, was that everyone needed to come, at least have visited Hawaii at some point.
Yeah, and I had to prove it to you too. I had to show you my airline ticket stubs.
Yes, but I thought that they might have been counterfeit. So
well, they actually were, but actually, I've been to Hawaii many times. Family vacations on Maui, played shows in Maui and on the Big Island, and also shows in Honolulu.
Neat.
So yes, many times. I love it there.
And I think that you shared a picture that we're showing now of you and Garrett. Garrett is Duncan's son, who's now
32.
Yeah, and a good supporter of music, but also a good supporter of our live streams, I've noticed. He's a generous cat. That's awesome. Mac, hey Mac, Mac's on bass, by the way. How about a little hand for him?
Oh, thanks.
Mac, we got some fan mail from the last show, the Metheny show that Mac played bass, and someone asked me to ask you, what is the name of the repurposed wood company that used to get wood to make planter boxes? And this is from Felicia Barn, and she'd love to know.
Sure, yeah, it's called Lumber Cycle, like to recycle lumber.
Lumber Cycle. How would she find it?
I think they're definitely on Facebook and Instagram and social media stuff, and I'm sure they have a website too.
Okay.
And they have a location in National City and also in Ramona.
Great. So, we ought to get them to be sponsors of our concert.
They love it. The guy who runs it is a musician, actually.
And they'd start with your bass.
Yeah,
exactly. Recycle that. Hey, Mac's traveled a lot. He's a well-traveled musician. He had for years a gig on a cruise ship, but recently also, Mac, didn't you go with Leonard and Tripster to Kauai?
Yeah, about 3 years ago, we went to Kauai with Leonard, and then Louis Valenzuela and Julian Cantellum were in the band, and I think Trip, you were playing with a different band, but it was the same festival.
The same gig. That was so fun.
Yeah, that was a great
Leonard
trip.
missed the plane.
I mean,
He did.
But he made it. He made it up.
yeah. How about the concept of going to Hawaii and coming back with more money than you left with?
Yeah, it's like Vegas, being lucky at Vegas.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
something. So that's Mac. Danny is on piano, and I know, Danny, you did a trip to Hawaii with your family, and also Justin Grinnell and his family.
Yeah, man, what a great time that was. We went to Maui and spent about, I think, 4 days there. Didn't feel like enough time.
Well, and how about that picture that they're showing? Is that of Maui?
Yeah, that's a place in Maui called Iao Valley.
Iao
Valley.
And later we're going to play a piece by Danny that he named after that valley, and he captures the beauty of it. So cool. That's Danny Green on piano. My brother Trip, he's playing saxophone, flute, and chromatic harmonica, also iwi and soprano sax for this show.
Whoa,
So
it took me like an hour to set up.
that's Trip's turn. So Trip, that song that we played leading into the concert was called Whatevers.
Oh, that's right.
And tell them why we recorded that, had time to record that at Char's studio. Because what did you do right when you landed?
Oh, yeah, well, I've been to mostly Kauai, but I think I've been 23 times. It's something a lot. The first time we went was 1984, and then Peter and I just fell in love with it, and we went almost every year for quite a while. But we'd go do gigs there, and one of the times we went, the first thing I did was got out into the basketball court and threw my back out really bad, like I couldn't even really walk.
I know.
So we had more time in the studio, and we one of our best hosts is Charlene Dyer. She has a studio called Treble in Paradise.
Treble.
Yeah, Treble.
Treble, not trouble. Treble.
No,
Yeah.
Treble in Paradise. I love that name. And so we wrote that tune, Whatevers. And Whatevers is
Kind of pigeon.
it's kind of an answer to a lot of things in Hawaii, because you're kind of like so relaxed. You want to go do that? Whatevers.
Yeah. Cool. And then that picture is of you and I at Tunnels. And then
Right.
the very last picture we want to show is just me and my family in Kauai, and my wife Stephanie and Kylie, our daughter. And Stephanie's not here doing the chat because she's actually left a couple days ago to visit our daughter in Portland. That's where our daughter lives. So we're missing it. So we're going to check in with Brian on the sound.
Actually, I was going to pass it off to Jacob.
Okay,
Go ahead,
Jacob, any comments on sound out there?
They're all, we have good vibes coming in from all over.
Okay.
Everybody's very happy with the sound. We have Laura Dillard saying, sounding great.
Good.
B Wise is really happy that Duncan is wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
That's too loud.
It's not really a Hawaiian shirt, but at least it has some palm trees on it.
Good.
Yeah, and we got people writing in from us, so we'll have to see
Good.
in a second. Back to you, Peter.
Thanks. By the way, that's Jacob, folks. That's Digital Brian's son, and he just happens to be in town subbing for Stephanie, and he's doing a great job. And I'm really happy that the sound is good because we spent a lot of time, but that means that first song that the computer upstairs in the office where Mac is was on, so I'm glad it didn't destroy the mix. So now we're going to play another piece. So each of us have composed songs. So Trip has a new piece. Trip, tell them
Right,
what
I
about
wrote this song, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago. I like that. We all wrote these songs within the last month, I think.
Yep.
And our band's called The Rebels, and this song is called Rebels in Paradise. And it's also a play on the name of the studio, Trouble in Paradise.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
so
get it?
Brilliant.
Okay, I'm going to change my preamp and then we'll start.
Okay.
Okay, Duncan's got it. Ready? Yep.
Yep. Nice. Nice. Trips Rebels in Paradise. Rebels in Paradise. Thanks so much. We're going to tune in. You know, you guys said where you were from, and we have Digital Brian, and he's going to show the map, and just to get a little sense of jazz community in the year 2221, how it is online, streaming. What you got for me?
Okay, first of all, I'm going to focus in on our guests this evening. We got a pretty good representation. We got Shar Dyer is here in the house, which is kind of cool. Bette Midler is up there in the North Shore. Mitzi Gaynor, do you remember her? I mean, come on. She's posthumous coming back from South Pacific. Elvis is there. We've got Barack Obama. How cool is that? He's surfing off over in Oahu. Don Hope. Bruno Mars, another one, is Mark Zuckerberg. There's just a fantastic
And how
good
about
group.
real people?
Okay, real people. We're going to tune into that right now. Hold on a second. Okay, here we are. Looking at the real people, we have quite a good representation across the U.S. as well. Yeah, we're over on the East Coast.
Nice.
We got Vicky Alonso up in Montana. It seems a little bit questionable, but we're going to go with that for a moment.
Good.
We have other people in the Midwest, in the San Diego community, up in the northern area, up in a little bit near Canada, up in the northwest, kind of Vancouver area.
Okay.
And yeah, so it's looking good. A lot of good
Neat.
people out there tonight.
Neat.
Thank you very
Great
much
to have you all. Thank
putting
you.
your dress.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Great to have you all. We're going to continue next with a piece that Danny wrote for that valley that exists in Maui. What do you know about it, Danny?
Man, what do I know about it? It's beautiful. I know there's some history there, but I can't remember.
Yes, but what do you know about your
Oh, my
actual
experience.
family, your experience?
Yeah, so we like you said earlier, we took a trip out there. I want to say 2019. We went out with the Grinnells, and one of the days we took a trip out to I think it's called Paia, and it's like a surfer community. And from there, the first place we stopped was called Twin Falls, I think. Beautiful, like one of the first stops on the road to Hana. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. We had a great time swimming in the waterfall, like the little water by the waterfall.
Yep.
And then after that, on the way back, we stopped at Iao Valley, and there's this just nice little hike there, and also a river that we could hang out in.
Nice.
And just such gorgeous scenery, really inspiring.
Is that the first time that you've been to Hawaii?
No, I actually went right when I graduated high school. I went with some friends. We went to Waikiki.
It's good. It's crazy, but it's like Las Vegas on the beach, but it's so bitchin', man.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy scene over there for us.
I bet. You were wild kids.
Yeah.
Out of high school, being crazy. All right, well, let's do your tune. How do you say it once again?
Iao Valley.
Iao Valley.
I think so. Hopefully I'm right.
All right, Danny Green. Danny, great tune, man.
Thank you so much. You guys sound so good.
And Trips are, how about a hand? Trips playing chromatic harmonica. And we're in the key of A flat, D flat, such, and man, just to find the notes on that thing, that's amazing.
I had a 99% success
You sure did. You did. You were really great. That's awesome. Hey, folks, we're going to keep going on, but let me tell you, we do play for tips. We have this sort of whole team now of bandmates rehearsing and working on songs, and then the tech team. Let me tell you, Digital Brian is always here and does a ton. This week, as I mentioned before, his son Jacob is here, and then Steve Grant, big hand for him. He's doing all the switching and making us look good. And then Stephanie, who is my wife, is behind the scenes. She's, if you notice plants, like this plant right there, that's Stephanie's work. So we have this whole team, and we are so into it. We're doing shows pretty much every other week, each with sort of a theme or a kind of a concept in mind. And we work our tails off learning the new music, and you guys have been so great with tipping, and it makes it so that these are like real gigs in the real world. And in fact, sometimes it's even better because we're not lugging gear and we're playing with just like the sound in our ears is so good. So there's QR codes. Steve's bringing them up. The basic way that if you want to tip, for sure, snail mail, there's an address there. And by the way, all this information will be up at the very end too, so you don't have to scurry right now. But snail mail works perfectly. Zelle, Venmo, and PayPal are the sort of online digital versions. And those QR codes, my nephew hipped me to them. And basically you stick your phone up to it and it takes you right to the account. It makes paying the band like such a happy moment. I mean, it's probably happy already, but it just, it seems unreal. It seems like it's magic. So
I'm so happy I'm going to pay myself.
It also helps paying the wrong person.
It does.
Because that happens.
It does. Like paying $5,000 to someone named Peter Sprague, and it's not me. Because there is another couple Peter Spragues. There's a guy in Las Vegas that I met once. He's a musician, a piano player when I was playing there, and he said, my name's Peter Sprague too. Then there's a guy that runs a music magazine named Peter Sprague in the Midwest. And then there's a dude that has Austin Martin cars, and his name is Peter Sprague too. So and I've been in touch with all of them. In fact, the Austin Martin, if he's watching, I get some of your mail. I mean, email. People are tagging me on your email and corporate secrets and everything. It's just crazy. So anyway, we love your tips. Thanks for being so generous, and know that they go to good cause. They go for us to put this all together. So, Brian, any other little blips coming out of the stratosphere?
No, pretty much everybody seems to be content. Again, the sound quality seems good. Everybody's happy. Loving the arrangements. Danny loved that arrangement as well. Sounding fantastic. Back to you for now. We'll check in a little bit later.
Okay, so folks, the next song is I wrote. So when I thought of this idea that we would do this tribute revels and we would take on Hawaii, we all love Hawaii, and it would be just sort of an interesting thing to say, here's something to write about, and then see what you can come up with. And so I came up with Hawaii, we're in the water a lot, and then this one is sort of a silly little tune called Belly Flop. And you know what that is when you jump off the Danny's, when he's talking about hanging out in the rivers and jumping off the sides of cliffs, and then you always want to aim with your feet flat, but man, if you belly flop, it's the end of the world. And how do you capture a belly flop? Trip, how do you think you capture a belly flop musically?
Oh, big intervals. You got some here?
Well, I thought just the opposite. I thought
It's subjective.
So the chromatic scale equals belly flop. At least that's in my mind. I thought as I wrote it, how do I get that? So check this as a chromatic little lick in it. Everyone good? All right. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Belly flop. I realize also tritones help.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, that's what I meant. All right, that's called belly flop. Thanks so much. All right, we're moving on. We've got a cool setup next. We have talked a little bit about the island of Kauai, and when we first moved there, or not moved there, visited, we met this wonderful woman named Charlene Dyer, and her husband Michael were super inviting to us and befriended us, and we've stayed at their place many times, and they have a recording studio, and we recorded there in the island of Kauai in Princeville. And so we're next going to do a song by Charlene, and she's a songwriter and a beautiful songwriter. And so I got to talk with her about 4 days ago about her song and a little bit about how Hawaiian music, the tradition of how Hawaiian music sort of came around. So we're going to play a video, a little bit of an interview, and here it is. Our show, I know we're going to do your song a little bit later down the way, or actually maybe this is going to air right when we're going to do your song. And I wanted to let folks know a little bit more about you, the songwriter, and maybe some of your wisdom that you have from living in Hawaii for so long. So when did you first move there?
We were 1970.
Okay. Is the language that they speak in Hawaii called, what is it called? Hawaiian?
Yeah, Hawaiian, but the local, all the mixtures of people were speaking Pidgin, and you can still hear that. The Hawaiian language was banned for a while, along with the hula, when the missionaries came in the early 1800s. And so you weren't allowed to speak it at home. And so they lost the language except through the music, the mele. And if they had not had the music, it would have been probably lost forever. But recently, and this is where I came into the sort of the music scene, I had been writing music for kids things, and I wrote a little Hapa song. And one of my friends, when I was away taking care of my mother-in-law, sent it in, and it got into the finals. And then I won the first, what they call Moki Hana contest. And now it's a full-on week celebration with hula and all different types of things. But at first it was just a song contest. Yeah, it's pretty amazing how everybody here is involved with music. And that group who started the Moki Hana contest, Nathan Kalama and his little trio, started raising funds for the Hawaiian language immersion schools on Kauai. And this has been 35 years. And now they have 2 generations of folks that speak Hawaiian. It's just lovely to hear it spoken.
You know, when we came to Kauai, one of the mind blowers is in Paradise, we ran into you in this recording studio. And tell me, how did it get built and what was the inspiration for it getting built?
Well, the inspiration was, it came as kind of a backwards thing. I had an autoimmune situation that didn't allow me to surf or play volleyball or tennis much anymore. And I was getting, my spare time and my fun time, it's depressing. And you know something about that. But so I'm going, what could I do? And I'd been writing children's music for curriculum and I went, why don't I build a studio? And that's before everybody had the digital and he had to actually be in a studio to do anything he wanted. So I got my little savings together and built a studio out and back. And then I started recording local people, and some of them had demos. It was so much fun for me. And I loved that analog thing. I loved the splicing of the tape. I loved all the outdoor. Some of these local people had never gotten to record. And then their little tape out at the time. And then you guys did the whole thing with the beta tape.
I know. Well, for us, it was just so cool because we were surfing a lot, but then on the days where it was raining like crazy, which Kauai is known to do, we would retreat into your recording studio and record your songs and some of our music. It was just...
Oh, you knew that whatever's was... that should be the background for a surfing movie. It just has to be sometimes.
Hey, thanks for thinking of it.
Yeah.
All right, Sean. Are we back? Steve? Yep. We're back. So that's Shar and I hanging out on Zoom. And we're going to play now a song of Shar's called So This Is Love. And this is, of many of the songs that she's written, this is one of my favorites. And singing this song is the Sine A from Denmark. She's a beautiful singer that I've worked a lot with. And we've been doing this thing where I send her the music and she records over there, and then she's going to magically appear and hang out with us tonight. So this is Love with Sine on vocals. Here it comes, guys.
Outside my door, lightening up the early morning sky. Fireflies are sparking, oh, spotted dog are barking at the shadows on the river flowing by. Golden ball of fire pushing up from the east, silvery mist just hanging from the trees, roosters all a-crowing, river keeps a-flowing, rippled by that sweet magnolia breeze. So this is love. I lie awake all night and dream all day, looking at the world through lovers' eyes, happy just to feel this way. Twilight lingers softly as the day retires, Evening showers sing a cooling song. Whippoorwills start calling. Shades of night are falling on that river as it slowly moves along. Softly as the day retires, evening showers sing a cooling song. Whippoorwills start calling. Shades of night are falling on that river as it slowly moves along.
Isn't that great? That's Sine. And she's one of our absolute favorites. Bye, Sine. All right, we're cooking along. We're going to do a CD giveaway right now, folks. And Trip, my brother Trip, is going to lead the way. Tell them about what's up, Trip.
Okay, we're going to give away 2 CDs this week. Oh, the winners will get 2 CDs each. Is that right?
Well, the winner...
Oh, there's one winner. Sorry. I'm messing it up. Okay, there's one winner, and the winner will get 2 CDs. One CD is Charlene's Treble in Paradise, which Peter and I are both on.
Mm-hmm.
And the other CD is Peter and Randy Phillips' CD, Sparks and Seeds.
And let me tell you why we gave that away last week, but we're going to give another a copy away because there's a fellow named Greg Doty, and he won last week's giveaway, and he decided to pay it forward and financed a few more giveaways. So thanks, Greg, for that. So the winner is going to get 2 CDs. All right, Trip.
Okay, so this week's question is, one of Hawaii's most revered watermen and surfer was, and sorry if I don't get the pronunciation right, his name was Paoa Kahinu Moko'e Huli Ko'ola Kahanamoku, or more commonly known as Duke Kahanamoku. And his name has 20 syllables in it, by the way.
And Trip, that was a beautiful rendition.
Thanks to Charlene, she coached me a little bit.
Good, it's beautiful.
Okay, so and the question is, what's the specific date that he was born?
That's right. So you let us know. Brian over there and Jacob will monitor the chat for the first person that gets it right, and then we'll be back with you after the next song. So the next song is we're doing a song by Danny. Danny, tell them about this one.
Okay, this one was inspired by a trip that I took with my family to the beach in Maui. And a friend of ours told us this really cool spot that's not like a really well-known one, but it was absolutely gorgeous. I forget what it's called. But we took a long drive out there, and we got there, and the waves were just like way too crazy for our kids. Mm-hmm. As, you know, they might be like everywhere in Hawaii. I don't know. I remember some calmer spots in Waikiki. But it was kind of violent waves for our kids. So I call this one Violent Beauty.
Right.
And this was the first song that I've ever written where I basically like programmed the drums before I even started writing the music. And I just kind of heard this little rhythmic thing up at the beginning of the tune and just figured, okay, I'm going to start with that and see where it goes. So hope you guys enjoy it.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, ready, everybody?
Ready to go.
1, 2, 1 and 2 and.
Danny Green, everybody. Danny Green, composer, playing killing solo too, man. Just eighth note perfection. If you were to transcribe that, you'd realize that those were golden notes, every one of them. All right, thanks, Danny. We're gonna do. Okay, so do we have a winner for the CD? Jacob, let us know what went down.
Oh, okay. Yes, we do have a winner. And first, I should ask Trip, who is the winner?
Yes, there you go.
What's the answer?
Okay. I don't know.
It says there on.
Yeah.
I'm looking for my script.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I'm a Leo. He's a Leo. And his birthday is August 24th, 1890.
Man.
Indeed it is. And the winner for tonight's giveaway is Gary Schaefer.
What?
Yeah.
That's great. We know him.
Uh-oh, Jacob is contesting that. Hold on a second. Just a minute.
I'm reading the chat history here, and
I demand a recount.
Karen Fraser was the first one to write in with 1890.
She got it.
Did she say August 24th?
No, Gary Schaefer said August 24th.
I think you need the date. Come on.
I think this is a recount.
Okay. Well, it looks like Gary came in with the full thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And listen, what was the name of the other gal that did just the year?
Karen Fraser.
Well, okay, Karen, if you're out there and you feel slighted, just let us know. We'll send you a CD anyway, because we don't want anyone to feel bad about it. So it looks like Gary Schaefer won, but Karen, if you want one, just write in and let us know. Yes, that's fantastic. So Duke and Trip, that's right around your birthday. So I'm going to start calling you Duke instead of Tito Puente. We're going to tune in with Brian, Digital Brian, and Brian. The cool thing about Brian is he's lived in a lot of different places, and he lived on Kauai. Tell us about that, Brian.
Yeah, I could say that, we can sum up why we went there in 3 words. Life is short. So we decided to take the opportunity with no other reason than just saying, let's go ahead and do it. It looks like we have a window of opportunity of life. We moved over there with our 2 children. We lived for 3 years, and I would say it was probably the highlight of our life, and one of the highlights. So what we want to do, once you're over there, there's a lot of interesting people that on the island of Kauai and the North Shore. But one thing that you always come up against and people talk about is Taylor Camp.
Oh, Trip, do you remember that story?
Right.
And remember when we went surfing near Taylor Camp?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So Taylor Camp, what it ended up being is there was about 13
Hey, Brian,
people.
1 second. Speak that way.
Okay.
You're getting off mic.
Taylor Camp, what it ended up being is there was about 13 different people from predominantly UC Berkeley and UCLA that at one point in time in 1969 when there was, police brutality was going on, the Vietnam War was going on, finally they said there has to be a better life. So they moved over to Kauai. And so hence, once they got there, they started migrating from town to town, but soon they found that they weren't welcome in each town that they moved to. They could stay for a certain period of time, and then finally they had to move again. So what happened at that point in time, kind of simultaneously, Howard Taylor, who is Elizabeth Taylor's brother, had a piece of land on the North Shore, which he had been trying to build, but was kind of stalled in City Hall trying to build anything on the lot. So he finally came to the rescue for the Taylor campers and said, you know what, you can go ahead and live on my property. I'm not doing anything with it anyway. He had 6 or 7 acres. And thus started Taylor Camp. Now this is a map of what Taylor Camp looked like, kind of circa 1976 or so. And you can see that initially was built at its max was about 120 different people, but you can see there are little different places built around in this area, and ended up being about 34 different locations that were kind of built. But what's kind of cool is looking at what these places looked like and what they put together. These, I'm just going to kind of straddle through them. Diane's house, we ended up knowing and meeting Diane Daniels, who
After she lived there.
After she was living there on the North Shore at the time, and this was after the homes were all decommissioned. But this is just fascinating how this is built. It's just a gorgeous tree house, and there's Diane at the time, sitting up in her kitchen in the top of the... And for her, she kind of said that this was just an important part of her life, and even though it was a short, brief period of time of 47 years, it really affected her, and everybody that walked away from living there just really had a good starting point in life. And so you can kind of see some of the other structures that were built are fascinating, you know, and the people that are there are all types. They actually had, this is their sauna. They had a lot, they had Vietnam War surgeon as well as a doctor were on staff there that were actually because a lot of the military was based out of Honolulu, and then afterwards they wanted to stick in the Hawaiian Islands. So you can kind of see a number of different people. This is Kung Fu Bill, some of the other structures that were built. And
that's the land.
That is the land, and it's just gorgeous. A lot of different artisans. The Hamiltons are still known on the North Shore, and a famous surfing family, and this is one of the earlier families of the Hamiltons. Again, they had their own general store where if you took something out of the store, you had to bring something back in. So it was,
right.
Yeah, so there was no currency exchange, let's put it that way. It was just like, okay, you know that you should bring something. A number of different great people, good-looking groups. There's interesting structures. Here's Hanalei Bridge, which looks pretty much like that today, but based on this car is probably about 60, 70 years ago. Again, some of the other structures. A lot of the different people. Here's the restroom facilities. Again, the rainbows going over the North Shore. Finally, when we kind of get down to the end, what I wanted to do is kind of show you there's just a real mix of people, and everybody just kind of really enjoyed the quiet and the serenity of the area. There's Bali High, which actually came out of South Pacific. And they actually had their own church, and you can kind of see there's a bunch of different religions that were practiced within the church. There's children there. And that's pretty much it. So eventually, in 1977, they ended up decommissioning, and the sad part of the whole decommissioning process is they literally burned everything to the ground. And
then you were telling me that the jungle just takes over.
The jungle takes over. It doesn't take a couple of years, and already the jungle takes over, and pretty much you'd never know anything happened. Now it ended up, because we were good friends with Diane Daniels, she actually took Jacob out at one point in time and showed where her tree house was and showed the nails in the side of the tree, and you could see there's still a little bit of emotion left there that she had spent several years and really enjoyed it. And that's pretty much it. And Howard Taylor passed away this past year.
Okay.
And that's pretty much the end of the story.
Well, I love the story, Brian.
Hope you enjoyed
Brian,
it.
Amazing. Taylor Camp, and it's so neat to hear about that because we've been there many times and heard about it. It's near the end of the road where the Nepali coast starts. And that was a whole saga that happened at that point. Hey, we have a kind of an interesting little medley. We're almost at the end of our music, but we've got a few more. We're going to do a medley of mine. The first one's called the Pakala Fields. Pakala is a place over on is at the kind of southeast side of Kauai, and there's a field there. And I thought of this field. It's just pristine, gorgeous field that leads. You have to walk a ways to get to the water's edge. But the only funny thing about it is that there's a bull that you have to deal with. And I remember being kind of afraid of that. So this first piece is called the Pakala Fields. Then we morph into a song that I just wrote called We Love the Drums. And we're going to feature Duncan on the drums. So here we go. Pakala Fields, We Love the Drums. 1, 2, go 1, 2, 3. love the beat. We love the drum. Play it in freedom. We love our life.
Aloha kākou I ka pā. Aloha kākou I ka pahu. Kaini me ke kū o ko'a. Aloha kākou ka nohona.
Well, how about a hand for Duncan Moore on the fire sticks? Woo! That was one of the moments right there. Oh man, Dunk, great solo, great effect. Hey, what was it like playing with that?
Colorful.
Could you see what you were doing?
I felt like I was back in the 60s.
At Taylor Camp.
Well, or maybe experimenting with substances or something. I don't know.
That's what we like to do. We like to live it clean here at SpragueLand,
That's right.
but we like to hallucinate on the beauty of life. Oh, that was so fun. Hey, folks, we have one more, and this is a piece that Mac composed. Mac, why don't you tell them about it?
Sure, all right. This tune is called Hana Bop, and when Peter was divvying out the assignments.
Yes,
for
it
the
was kind of that
composition-
way, wasn't it?
No, it's good. I like it that way. He said, Mac, you write a tropical bopster. So to me, what that meant is we need a bebop tune with a little bit of island flavor that doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
So, and a little shout out to my wife, Michaela. She came up with the title. I wrote the tune, and I was pretty stoked on it, but I couldn't come up with a name. I wanted to put a word in Hawaiian there, but I don't really, speak any Hawaiian. And she did a little Googling, and Hana means craft or work.
Okay.
So I thought that was a good.
Also,
title.
Mac, it's the most beautiful. It's one of the beautiful places that's sort of hard to reach. They always talk about the road to Hana.
Ah, okay.
In Maui.
Gotcha.
And it's beautiful, but it's like the bop tune that someone would write or play while on the road at Tahana.
Love it. Yeah, there we go.
Good, Mac.
All right, and I won't count it off too fast.
Oh. Mac's got it. Hana Bop. Tropical Bopster. Beautiful. Well, that is it, folks. That is the music for tonight. We had a great time. We had a great time preparing it. Now,
wait a second. You stand corrected. There's one last tune tonight.
There is. Yes. Okay, so we're going to sign out, but you've got to wait to the very end because Brian, Digital Brian, on top of being just a wizard with ones and zeros, he also sings. And then Jacob, the son that was in the house running the chat, plays ukulele, and then I played some guitar, and we recorded a version of Izzy's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So you got to hear that. It's incredible.
It's pretty good, but I would suggest that everybody take their glassware out of the room that they're watching this for the moment.
All right, so we're just going to check in with the chat master, Jacob, for a quick second to see what's going on. Anything we need to know about? Any police
your fans
reports?
Are digging the tunes from near and far. We have Matt Ashworth in Bandung, Indonesia, says enjoying early morning sounds.
Good.
We have,
I think he's legit, believe it or not.
Really?
Yes, I do.
We have Jay Siegel tuning in from Tianjin, China, says sound is great even over VPN.
Okay.
All right. Carol Yaumans says my cat is mesmerized by Duncan.
Brilliant.
And Michaela Stein says I'd pay money to watch Mac belly flop, and I'm married to him.
Oh, beautiful. Michaela comes through. Not only did she title the song, she added some humor into the mix. Beautiful. Thanks, Jacob. That's Jacob Baltazar. And then Brian, anything on the map that we need to know about?
You can take one last look if you want to switch over this evening. Thanks again for the representation tonight. I think, again, a great group. Thanks again. And, Shar, thanks for tuning in. Really loved your tune. Fantastic.
Yep.
That's it for tonight.
Thank you. We're going to sign off, but if you feel inspired by all that we've done, the tip jar is going to come up, and please join in if you want to. Remember, we were talking about how fun it is to send tips over the digital platforms. It's just like candy, and we love it. So thank you so much.
Next concert?
Yeah, and the next concert that we have, we're going to do it, I think it's in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. We're doing episode 18 live-ish from SpragueLand. It's called The Lucky One, and it's the music, our group playing the music of Alison Krauss, which is going to be a mix of jazz and bluegrass. We have Andy Powers, who's going to play guitar with us. A lot of the same characters. Also, Pamela Pendrell, who sang on the Joni show a while back, she's going to sing it. So believe it or not, as soon as this show's over tonight, we get some food, and then we watch the show, and then tomorrow morning I've got to start arranging for that next show. So it's never a rest. So that's the scoop. So make sure to listen to the last song as the tip jar goes off into the great yonder. Oh man, I don't know what the right word is. Anyway, it's been a joy. Great to have you with us. We'll see you soon. Au revoir. Aloha. Great to have you with us. We'll see you soon. Au revoir. Aloha. Great to have you with us. We'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. La 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 la, where trouble melts like lemon drops, and high above the chimney top it's where